Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer. Oops, sorry, just a moment here. All right, risk disclaimer. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, for more information, go to bookmap.com. To let you know that when you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. There's a 4-part educational course that's always accessible. And then every day following this webinar, every weekday, we have the advanced order flow analysis webinar, where we analyze the current market and then anticipate future price movement based on our analysis. Our analysis backs up the content that we go over in the educational course. So learn about order flow and how Bookmap visualizes it in the course, and then come to the daily webinars and see it unfold in the live markets. All right. Well, let's jump over to what we're going to do in this webinar. We're going to go through some of the resources, bookmap.com, social media, and then jump into Bookmap, look at the user interface, understand what we're looking at, and then start to define some of the basics in the order flow and how Bookmap is unique in its visualization of that order flow. Okay, so let's jump over here to bookmap.com, scroll up to the top, and there's an intro video, information about Bookmap and testimonials. Bookmap for equities, I'll cover this in just a second, and we'll go scroll down a little bit further. Connectivity, and we'll stop here. Okay, so what is Bookmap? Let's define it. We're a trading platform, a true trading platform. Okay, we're not a data provider. Okay, you will need to provide the data for futures and for U.S. equities. We subsidize the data for GDAX exchange for the digital currencies, so that is free. You can also see under connectivity here, there's a few different trading platforms: Ninja, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Okay, so we connect via the API of these 3 different platforms, but we are a platform too. So it's better to connect directly to your data provider, like CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. Now, the Dev Experts or DX feed is for NASDAQ Total View and for EdgeX or BATS. So we'll scroll back up here to DX feed for Bookmap for equities and just cover what we offer here. Okay. Again, yeah, Total View and the CBOE EdgeX, which is BATS. Low latency, full depth of market, many different. It's basically all U.S. equities on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. So developing your niche and specialty in the equities. All right, so that's connectivity. Let's scroll down a little bit further and go over the different platforms or subscription packages here. Okay, so you can subscribe yearly and get a 20% discount, or monthly. And you can see a few different versions for digital and a few different for global. So let's quickly define them. The digital version, you can see it's free. It's real time. It's a live data feed. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week market. So it's always open. You can always check out the live market. And you only get access to 1 digital currency. And you get limited support and only basic education. The Digital Plus version allows you 20 different digital currencies at once. You can trade right from the Bookmap chart. Okay, the data is free again for GDAX. You can record and replay your data, and you get the advanced education and full support. Now, the global version, all this means that it includes everything in Digital Plus, but you also have the ability to connect to the futures market and the U.S. equities. Now, you will need to provide the data for equities or for futures, and that's where you'll connect here with the different data providers that you see listed. Okay, now the Global Plus version, this is all inclusive, and you get in addition is our cache here of add-on indicators. Okay, so you get the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart. Okay, big bonus because you have the liquidity right in front of you. Front run high liquidity, hide your stops behind high liquidity. Large lot tracker. These are proprietary indicators we put together for specifically order flow. So large lot tracker starts to identify larger players in the limit order book, holding the majority of liquidity at specific levels. It's good information to know. We have a few different imbalance indicators. We have an iceberg detector, again, looking at larger players hiding their liquidity in the order book. Notice when something strange happens in the market where more liquidity is trading than what is in the order book at that time. And that would be an iceberg order. Okay. And then a correlation tracker here as well. Please note some of these links down here. If you need a trial of a data feed, you can click here. If you want the full comparison chart, you can click here. And then there's an FAQ section here. All right, well, let's jump over to social media, okay, at bookmap_pro. All sorts of great stuff in here, as you can see. And it looks like we have a video here I just uploaded for this DX feed. And you might want to read about this here. We'll have a webinar here soon about that. Okay, the subscription here also to our YouTube page, and just go through the home page here on YouTube, the different videos and playlists, the intro videos here, just to get you up and running, understand what you're looking at, and then features and components of Bookmap, and then order flow video snippets. It's recommended to watch as many of these as you can. This is where you can understand how Bookmap is visualizing data in a unique way, and then how it's giving you an edge. Okay, by uncovering order flow phenomena. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's jump into Bookmap and take a look here. Okay, I actually have a stock up here, but we're looking at Twitter. Okay, something I want to let you guys know about here, just looking at, this is from that DX feed that includes NASDAQ total view. It's a compiled data feed and view. Okay, so it's NASDAQ total view as well as EdgeX, and it offers full depth of market. Now, you know, we look at full depth of market also in the futures market, but you can see these things really clearly here in the equities. Okay, look at this wall of volume that comes in at 9:30. I mean, this is very typical in the futures market as well, but it's even more so in the stocks. Okay, things become very liquid at 9:30. But look where they were. You can already see here with this DX feed, with this full depth of market. Well, there were traders lined up here already before 9:30, and then 9:30 opened up. They added in even more. Look where the market went in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, right to it. Okay, it filled that area. Okay, well, here's your advantage right away. You already know that there's sellers up here. Okay, now we traded through by a little bit, okay, but a real nice pullback. And then look at the information we're getting here. Okay, even way up here at 33.20. Okay, also here at 33 even. And they're piling into the market too within first few minutes of the open. Okay. And then look at this area here where they started to even get more aggressive here and in here. Okay, and they're providing more liquidity on the offer, okay, into these areas. And look what price has done. Look what kind of effect high liquidity has had on this market. Okay, so we'll get into the details here, but of defining these elements on the Bookmap chart for those of you who are new. Maybe we'll, if we have a few extra moments, we'll come back and take a look at Twitter here in this equity. But for those that say, well, liquidity doesn't really affect the price. It's really all about the traded volume. Here's a great argument against that. Okay, I mean, liquidity has a massive effect on price. Okay, so we can see that the buyers didn't take these guys on up at this 3250 area, 3260, I should say. Okay, they're even getting a little more aggressive, lowering their liquidity here and here. Okay, and then very, very simple as well with this full depth of market. Well, we know where the liquidity is on the sell side. What about on the buy side? Here they are. And just right down here below the low at the open. Okay, or right, yeah, just right below it here. It looks like it. Let's just zoom in here and take a quick look. Okay, here's our open, right? And yeah, so just above the best, or just below the best bid here. You can see at 32, high liquidity here. Okay, and they're still there. So anyway, understanding liquidity, understanding the order book is really going to give you an edge here. All right. So anyway, let's jump into the futures market and let's take a look at the S&P E-mini, and then we're going to start to define some of these areas here. Okay, and I'm going to close up some of the indicator panels and things that we have here and just simplify the chart. You can see we have a sub panel here for cumulative volume delta. Okay, we're going to close that up. And we have this blue line, which is the point of control. I'm actually going to turn that off. And we also have VWAP, historical VWAP and current VWAP, and I'm going to turn that off too. All right, so here we're looking at the market, S&P futures, and well, let's define these elements on the chart. Okay, what are we looking at? Okay, for those of you who are new, this is going to look rather foreign. So you know, we're not used to studying liquidity like I was just going over. And so let's define some of these areas. Okay, so there's really only 3 elements on this chart. Okay, none of them are indicators. Nothing is lagging here. Everything is just it's the current market, a very objective view of that current market, a complete view of that market, and then that historical market as well. All of it's recorded and just plotted onto the chart here. Okay, so the 3 elements that we're looking at here in this chart are historical best bid and offer, the volume dots here that you see trading on that historical best bid and offer, and the liquidity heat map. Okay, that liquidity heat map I was just talking about in Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to define them a little bit more in detail here, and each element at a time, and we're going to show it within a candlestick chart. Okay, now we're just looking at a 5-minute candlestick chart. Okay, and that's it. And we're all accustomed to this view here, and we've been making trade decisions based on it, many of us, for decades. So, well, what exactly are we looking at here, and why are we at a disadvantage? Well, there's a lot of opacity in the data here. Okay? It's locked up within an aggregated 5-minute period, and the only data points we have for this 5-minute period here are open, high, low, and close. And that's it. Okay, what happened within this 5-minute period? We have no clue. Okay? We have no clue where the volume traded. There's little microstructures within here that gives us understanding to bigger moves. Okay, we don't see that either. And then ultimately that heat map, the auction derived from the depth of market, we see none of that data here whatsoever. All right, so let's turn on the historical best bid and offer. And very quickly, now we've kind of broken that candle open a bit, and we're starting to understand microstructure. And what do I mean by microstructure? Okay, so let's zoom into an area here And we can just look at this right here. Okay, pretty good example of some microstructure. Okay, here's a move down, a move right back up, and it based sideways. Okay, we get kind of a move down, but it came this auction down below this little structural area right here. It failed. It came back up into this auction again. Okay, and it went kind of back and forth here, and then it broke out. And it broke out by a few ticks here, as you can see. Okay, and it went kind of sideways up here, looking kind of bullish for a moment, but then that also broke down and came right back down into this range. Okay, and then here, though, is probably going to be the point of control of this bigger range here. You can see that it tested this area here, and we kind of floated back up here, and we're going to find buyers up here. Okay, and they're going to be pulling this market higher. All right, so that's the microstructure, and you can see here by looking at the candlestick chart, we just have open, high, low, and close of each period. Okay, so understanding these structures and then understanding who's in control with the volume is what's going to give us insight. And here we go. Okay, and let's bring up the dot size a bit. So here's our move to the downside. Here's this structure and cluster of volume. Here's our rejection, or our move to the downside, a rejection here. Okay, look at the trading down at this little point down here. There's very little trading. Okay, so it rejects and it comes back up and trades back into this cluster. Here's that little breakout we just went over. Okay, and it failed and it came back down into the range. Okay, but note the buying right here. Okay, note the green dots pulling that market up, lifting the offer. Right? And look at the retest here. Actually, I was going to say it was I did say it was the point of control. It might be. Let's take a look. Yeah, looks like actually, if I zoom out just a little bit more. Yeah, point of control is actually a tick or two higher. So it went down below it and then back up. But look at this. This is that area where we're just looking at here. And this is where those buyers came in. We tested here where they initiated here, and look at the selling down here, none. And so we rotate back up, and we have buyers are in control at this time period. Okay, within these little microstructures. Okay, now everything changes and changes pretty dynamically, but in that time frame, that's what you're looking at. Higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so let's look at some of these two elements here in a little bit more detail. Okay, so we can understand precisely what it is that we're looking at. Let me find a little bit better area here. This might be a little bit better. Okay, so we have some sideways action here, and the two elements that I've put onto the chart: historical best ask, the red line; historical best bid is the green line. And then these red spheres here, these are market sells. Someone crossed the spread and they took liquidity off of the best bid. Okay, that's how we define or plot the volume, is by the aggressor. Okay, so these red dots are market sell orders. Green is market buy. As you can see, the spread changed here, or I'm sorry, the bid ask changed here a bit, and then we had buyers starting to trying to lift this offer, and they actually did lift it one tick here. Anyway, that's these two elements here, and we're showing every single market event, so you can zoom in here and look at every single event, okay, that took place here. This is actually a pretty big trade, one event for 100 contracts. Right, now the size of the dot gives you reference to how much traded here. And if you want the precise data, you can hover over this, and it gives you that data here. Here's our 100 lot trade. Okay, so a block order going through there. All right, so zoom back out, and now look what we do though with that data. We visualize it here in a unique way. It's aggregated only visually or graphically. Okay, and that dot here, you can see about 3/4 of it is aggressive selling, and about 1/4 of it is buying. Okay, so we record all of it, we plot it on the chart very precisely, and give you the overall shape and understanding of that volume. All right, now let's zoom back out. We understand microstructure. We understand the aggressor and the volume and how it's plotted. And then let's just compare that again to this aggregated view in the candlestick. Okay? We really don't have any of that data here. All right. All right, let's zoom back out and then go to this. Let's go to the current market and add that last element onto the chart. And we'll take the candlestick off at the same time. Okay, so now I've added the third element, which is the heat map. And what is it? Okay, well, it's all derived from your limit order book. And here it is here. Okay, so to the right of this vertical white line, this is the current market right here. Here's your best bid and offer currently. This number is your last traded volume. Here's our price ladder, and then this COB column. Okay, this is your depth of market in Bookmap. Okay, so we're looking at here, traders lined up, they're offering, they want to be sellers at these specific price levels, and they're providing liquidity, okay, with limit orders. That's where they're lined up to trade. Down here, they're on the bid. They want to be buyers down here at these specific price levels. And that's it. So what's interesting, though, is we take that data, and in this current market window, we transform it into a heat map. Okay, and let me bring up the settings a bit more just so we can see a little more activity here. And the heat map is it's all derived from the order book. Okay, so areas of high liquidity are given a color. When the liquidity changes here, the color will change. Okay, like we just saw it right here, and then again up here. Okay. And what is it? That's the adding and pulling of liquidity. And what we do, though, is we take those areas and then we record it and plot it on the chart. So it's all here for us to understand what's going on. And now look how we just traded down through into this high liquidity here at 75 and then at 74 as well. And let's zoom into this area because understanding liquidity here is really going to give you a lot more insight to what's truly going on with traders and their intentions to bid and offer in this market. Okay, so we just traded into this area. So here, this is here we are trading into high liquidity right here, and this is what it looks like. Okay, this is real liquidity. Okay, it's very high liquidity because we have our scale up here. I'm actually now using the red as being the highest area of liquidity, then orange, then yellow, then white, then blue, and then black as the lowest areas of liquidity. And here they are, sellers hitting the bid into pretty high liquidity here on that bid. All right, about 460 contracts here, trading right into it. Okay, only 85 of those traded, and then it was pulled here, looks like. So some more trade here as well, but these traders, some of it got partially filled and then they popped out of the market. Okay, and then we come down a full point here, okay, because sellers are now in control as they continue to hit the bid and sweep the book lower. Okay, this is one of the concepts we go over in part 1 of the basic education is understanding book sweeps. What is a book sweep? Well, here it is right here. And, I mean, it's always great to see the book sweep when it's several points, but you know, S&P, there's a lot of back and forth. So what we're looking at here, though, is nothing but selling here. There's no buys within this area here whatsoever. Okay, and enough selling here. Finally, they ate through all of the or traded through all of the limit orders on the best bid. So where does price go after that? It goes to the next price level lower. And here they are again, hitting into it. Okay, those buyers wanted to, 161 contracts. Well, actually it was more like 275 here. And then as we go through, we see the transactions lining up and taking place here, one after another. Okay? And 100 traded here. So we were at 275, a little bit of it pulled, and we come down to 161. 56 trade events for volume of 100. All right, so that's what that looks like. Let's come down into this area here because this is where they, again, stayed right in the book here. Okay, 203 traded. Okay, so partially absorbed as well, okay, because there was higher liquidity than that. And still kind of coming lower here. But we are starting to note larger players coming into the book, okay, and getting filled here too, partially getting filled here. Now look at them. Okay, this is how you can start to read the intention of traders in the order book, is by understanding their behavior here. They were here at 272, and they still are, but someone's front running that now. Okay, we also noticed some of that absorption up here in some of these areas. Okay, and we're just trading into them now. Okay, and well, those guys that were front running kind of lost their appetite here. Okay, they got cold feet and started to pull as price is coming down, as that book was swept toward them. Okay, we trade in a 7-2, and he's starting to pull as well. Okay, but he's right back in. Okay, so we're starting to read now what's going on in this auction and where people are really starting to place their money and get filled. This is what we want to know, and this is what gives us a lot of insight here. Okay? Now we can combine that together with the actual transactions, and we have a really good complete view of what's going on in the order flow. Based on some of this information here, we can start to anticipate future price movement by the understanding of the auction together with the transactions. All right, well, I got to leave it at that. I've got to jump to the next webinar. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Else, if you're in the webinar or signed up for the for Bookmap, then we'll see you in the next one. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day.